Hey guys, welcome back to Bespoke in the Burbs. We're on the outside of the house, and as you can see, it is coming together. The brick is on, the stone is on, the roof is on. They've even done the copper roof in the front, which is looking fantastic. Now, there's a lot of trimming still left to do on the exterior, and that's going to come together soon. More importantly, I want to walk you through the inside because so much has happened. Hi, I'm Ramsin Khachi. I'm the founder and principal of Khachi Design Build and Stone Lab Surfaces. I've been in the design and construction industry for over 25 years. I've decided to do an entire series around my own personal real estate investment. I'll be taking a builder's custom-like home and then taking it to an entirely new level.
Welcome to Bespoke in the Burbs.
We're going to start off upstairs in the master ensuite. Now, right here, drawings, so important to have a proper interior design package on any build, whether it's a renovation or a new build. The guys here actually love the fact that these drawings are on site. It makes their job so much easier, even especially Rocco, the electrician, where he's got to position switches and plugs in the right places. These help him a lot. And the plumbers as well, knowing exactly where those drain centers are so that they end up exactly centered underneath the sinks. Really important. So some of the things I want to point out throughout the house. In the master ensuite, you'll notice here is the shower stall. We actually moved this wall back to make this shower stall a little bit bigger. This is the time to do that. So I came in, I realized it was too small, moved it back. Drain is right there, it's covered, and I love the fact they protect the drain. It's centered nicely. Above is the rain head, shower head above. You've got two lights on either side of it, and all the rough-ins are here. Now on this side, you'll notice that the hot water line and the cold water line, when you look down, there's a little return line that takes the hot water back to the furnace room. That circulates that hot water. Now the problem with that, well, the good thing about it is that when you open the sink, you got hot water right away. Problem with that is it's always running. So I had Rocco, the electrician, install some motion sensors in every bathroom. That way, as soon as you walk in, that's when that pump starts running. That way, by the time you get to the sink or the shower, you have hot water. Receptacles are put in place. There is a wire here for the receptacle for the toilet. You got to plan ahead. I'm not putting a smart toilet with a built-in bidet seat right away, but I will be doing that later. You'll notice that this is our in-floor heating. Our new heat in-floor heating is located on the outside of the bathroom. Too much happening in there. I had to pull some of these elements out. That's here. It runs down, so our new heat in-floor is going to be there. This is going to be a Wi-Fi thermostat. We can control it anytime through our phone. Now, in the master bedroom itself, a few things to think about. The alarm keypad. This is a great place for an alarm keypad in the master bedroom. One at the front door, one at the back door, one in the master bedroom. Josh AI, this is something I'm gonna love showing you when it's in place. Josh is gonna be my buddy. It's gonna control this whole house so people know of personal assistants like Alexa and Google. Well, this is the next level. So when it's all together, I'm gonna do a great walkthrough and you're gonna love it. Now, lighting is all thought out. So when you do lighting, it's important to come on site and take a look because, for example, the pot lights through this main hall, I actually cut back on them. We had too many on the drawings. So when I came here, it didn't quite work. So yes, it's important to have drawings. It's more important to walk through the site to really look at how things come together. When you walk into the laundry room here, you'll notice that there are some switches behind the doors. The door opens in here, and that's hidden. So I've got some switches hidden throughout the space. That's because we're using a Lutron Radio Raw 2, which are wireless switches, and then they enable us to just simply put one keypad in the hallway. This keypad is going to have a bunch of buttons and it will control everything and it'll control all those hidden switches. So it's a great way to hide all that wall acne, as they call it, so all your walls are nice and clean. This laundry room is going to be waterproof. We're going to have a tile floor. It's going to go up on the walls. It's going to be waterproofing underneath, and you'll notice the drain is here where the machines are going to go. Our washer and dryer are stackable. The drain's hidden underneath. And here is our vent. So one important thing to note out, Mario actually said to me, you don't want to vent on the floor because if there's a leak, that water is going to go down that vent. So really important to move it up, and I'm glad he pointed that out to me. We'll slope that floor up in the doorway so all the water goes to the drain. The dryer box here is another thing that's important to think about because when these machines are in place, this dryer box allows that venting to sink into the wall to push that machine right back to the wall to capitalize on all the space. You'll also notice that our attic hatch is in this laundry room. Usually they put it in a closet, makes it very difficult to access the attic. I had them actually move it out here. So let's go down to the main floor and have a look there. So as we come onto this landing, you'll notice that on every landing, well, we didn't really see, but every landing is the same as this. We've got these boxes at the bottom. Now, these are not just receptacles, although I am asking that Rocco put all the receptacles in the baseboards because I don't want any receptacles in the walls. So we've actually positioned all the receptacles at that level. These ones here in these corridors are actually night lights. So when you come down the stairs, when you go into that hallway and work your way down, all the hallways have these night lights. They're Legrand night lights. They're beautiful night lights. It's actually hard to find good night lights. These ones have beautiful louvers. They have a photo cell. They automatically go on. I love them. They're going to look fantastic. This is our living space, our kitchen, and our family room. Let me just point out a couple of things about the family room here. This wall is a complicated wall. We've got a lot of things happening. I've got a little sketch here that shows that we've got all this woodwork going around. We've got wall sconces positioned here, so it's really important to have these drawings so we have the sizes and the locations, and then our fireplace in the middle, TV above. Well, with that TV, it's going to have a lot of components. We're also going to run the one component that's going to drive the speakers in this space in here. So I had them make a box and set it in behind the TV. That way our Sonos amps, our Roku box, Apple TV, all that stuff's going to be in behind, and our TV mount's going to be here so the TV sits flush against that wall. All the wires for the speakers are run in here, and for speakers in this space, we're running the Nakamatone invisible speakers. Yes, you're not going to see them. They're part of the drywall. They get plastered over top of them, and there's 4 of them on this wall, and the wires are all roughed in, and they run behind the TV, and that's where the amp's going to sit. They sound amazing, and you won't see them, which is going to be brilliant. The pot light layout is done, and this was the toughest space because we had to coordinate this island, where these pendants hang, where those pot lights get positioned, because I want them in the hallways as you walk around. The challenge with that is the joists aren't always where you need them to be, so you do have to come here and move things around. All the wiring is done. Rocco's done a great job. 2 big fat wires. That's because we got 2 cooktops. They're right in place. All the plugs are in place for the receptacles. A couple of things I want to note out here. This is where our ovens are going to go. This is our servery. In the servery, we've got a sink, and underneath the sink, I had him put a plug in. That's because I'm having a growy system that's going to give carbonated water and filtered water all out of one faucet. This is our bank of fridges. There's a full fridge, full freezer. There is a coffee station there, and you'll notice that there's some low voltage wiring. That is for under cabinet lighting. So when you're running under cabinet lighting, we run the low voltage wiring in the walls. They all run to where the transformer is going to be plugged in, and I like plugging those transformers in a cabinet that's not usually used. Cabinet above the fridge is hardly ever used. The receptacle's up there. The keypad turns that receptacle on and then turns those lights on. So we got to plan ahead for things like that. This wall here is where some of our systems are. So we've got our thermostat here. We've got our humidifier or HRV system control right here. You've got your 2 keypads, which are going to control everything within the space. We've got some alarm wires throughout the entire house. So we had to plan where we're going to put our motion sensors, our glass break sensors, our carbon monoxide detectors, our smoke detectors, you name it, and our buddy Josh is in every room. So let's go look at the dining room before we go down to the basement. In the front foyer, before we go into the dining room, I just want to point out the bank of switches that are in the closet. Again, all those Lutron radio switches are going to be in here, and out front here by the front door, all you're going to have is one simple keypad. It's going to look so clean. In this dining room, we've got so much happening. There's some beautiful details and beautiful wallpapers. On the ceilings, we're going to have those invisible speakers because we're going to have plaster moldings so that they don't interfere with that beauty. The bulkheads are all done, and you'll see the massive low voltage wiring here. This is all the Cat 6 for the house because I'm wiring every single TV directly. We don't want to rely on Wi-Fi. Although we do have a great Wi-Fi system, you want to minimize the number of components that are using that Wi-Fi, so you want to wire in as much as you can. You'll notice these things throughout the house. These are the cold air returns, and I've had them put plywood here because after the drywall is done, we pop those in, pop them out, pop in the integrated return vents, and they're going to look fantastic. All the ducting is taped and sealed. That's a really important thing. And then central vac is done, and I'll talk a little about that when we go outside, but let's go down to the basement and have a look there. This is the downstairs landing. Now before we look at the rest, I want to point out this little closet underneath the stairs. A perfect space to capitalize on for an AV closet. All the AV components are going to be in here. All the Josh wires, all the speaker wires, all the Cat 6 wires come in here and in the furnace room. This is the transitional space that goes between that main area, the furnace room, and the home theater. This is going to be an exciting space. A lot of thinking in here, a lot of planning. So just the basics for now. The platform that goes around, the front row of seating is going to be here. Second row of seating is going to be back there. We've got some step lights here. Those Legrand step lights are going to be in here as well. But what I want to point out is all the thought that's gone into making sure that everything is laid out. So I've written down even on the floor for the guys what I want and where I want it. So all the wires that are coming out for all the low voltage lighting, the speakers, the surround sound speakers, the rear speakers, the Atmos speakers are going to go up top, even the subwoofers. And on this front wall, you'll notice that we made a secondary wall in behind. That front wall needs a lot of depth. We want to isolate the sound in here, but we also want to have enough room in here for the speakers that are going to go all behind that gorgeous screen that's going to go here. That screen innovations screen is going to go on this wall. It's perforated and all the sound is going to come through it. Let's go look at the rest. I want to show you the furnace room. This is one of my favorite spaces. So how exciting can a furnace room be? Well, pretty exciting to me. This is where it needs to be meticulous. Right off the bat, I want to show you this area here. It says Garage Faucet Kohler DTV. This is where my DTV is going to mount. It's going to plug in here, and it's going to control that faucet in the garage, which means at the garage, when you push the button, it's going to call for hot or cold water or a mix, and it's going to happen here and send it out there. Can't wait. Furnace is installed. I want to point out a couple of things. Mario actually put these furnaces on little blocks, so they're sitting off the ground, and I love that because that's where you get moisture trapped and it starts to rot the bottom of that furnace or the hot water tank. Everything is off the ground, allows me to do a nice floor and then finish that little area, trim it out later. Look at this. Look at what Rocco's done. I love it. This is excitement for me. I love the way they've done this. They put a nice piece of plywood up. He's run his wiring beautifully. I love the way he's done it. I will bring drywall up to this point later because I'm going to finish this room myself. The plumbers have done a fantastic job as well. They've left a little space here, and this is where our Fin Plus is going to go. That's going to control the water to the house, and it's going to get plugged in here, and then all the other controls will happen here. You'll notice that there's some more network wires here, so everything is run beautifully and organized. This is all our alarm system wires and all our cameras around the house. So we got cameras on the outside of the house. So let's go look at the gym. Now this is the home gym. This is going to be such an awesome room. It's a good size. I love it. You got the double door entry. I'm going to put glass doors on there, but if somebody wants to later make this into a bedroom, they can just narrow that down and put a regular door on it. Our ceiling detail is in place, and then as you go around, we ended up capitalizing on a little alcove here. This is where the fireplace is above. You can put a fireplace in here later. We've actually roughed in for it. That was part of the plan, to rough in for a fireplace. I don't want a fireplace in here. It can be put in later. Up there is going to be some of the controls for all the lighting up here, and then in the corner of every window you will notice a little wire coming out, and that is our wire for our automated Hunter Douglas blinds. Really important to rough all that stuff in now, know exactly where the wire needs to come out from, because you don't want to have to move things later. This is a very important wall. We've got mirrors, individual mirrors going on this wall, and that center portion that's going to be left open for a TV to fit in perfectly. Back there is a bathroom, and that's going to serve this gym when you need. Now let's go upstairs and look at one of the most exciting rooms in this house. The garage is such an exciting space. I know it's not much to a lot of people, but to me it's such an important space, and I want to show you some of the components and elements that are going into this space. Look at the ceiling height we've got to work with, which allows me to put a car lift here and capitalize on that height. Now I've roughed in a lot of things here because I'm trying to plan ahead. So we've got a dedicated plug here to run that auto lift. That car lift may not go in right away, but the plug's here and it can go in anytime I want. We've got wiring for lighting that's going to go behind some panels that are going to go down the side. All the cabinetry is going to go along here. So plugs, low voltage lighting, TV, all that stuff is here. This is where that DTV faucet is going to feed water to this hydrant here. This hydrant is going to be gorgeous, and I'll show you when it's in, because all you do is plug into it, and with the keypad you call for what kind of water you want. There's a receptacle here for a compressor that's going to be hidden inside the cabinetry here, and you'll see that Rocco brought a lot of wires out here. That's because we've got a space heater in here. We've got wires for everything we could imagine. Lighting is going to be done so intricately through here, and then you'll notice some conduits. This is a conduit that has been put in place because I want to make sure that it's future-proof in here. I want to make sure that I can easily run a feed for an electric vehicle and a charging station down the road. Our central vac outlet comes out here. It's going to come out. There's going to be a platform here. All this stuff's going to run under this platform. There's going to be a wall going up either side where you're going to step down into this garage. So as you see that come together, this is all going to make sense. And then we've got our door back there that's going to lead into that loggia. And let's look at the front of the garage, because I want to make sure when these doors go up, there's not all these tracks in the way. So we're going to make sure that the tracks are extended up high. The garage door openers are going to be jack shaft openers, which means they're going to mount on this wall. Now I've gone as far as running these wires inside the wall. So I've asked Rocco to run the wires for the sensors for the garage door openers, wires for the actual garage door opener controls. Everything's in the walls, so you don't have them stapled afterwards on top of the drywall. When we finish the space and paint it and plaster it and finish it beautifully, it's going to look fantastic. Now, next week, they're going to start insulating in here. So I'm going to come back and visit again, because I want to make sure there's a couple of points I want to make sure they hit and they insulate a certain few components, especially some of those down pipes, the plumbing pipes that come down. I don't want to hear any noise of water running inside the walls.